One
Yeah.
of the things that really, if I may ask, caught my attention was your identification as an ethicist and a progressive capitalist. Can you talk more about what those terms mean to you?
Yeah. So I studied philosophy in college, thinking I was going to get a PhD. So who cares what you study? That's my first caveat there. But I studied. What I found was that the courses that focused on social and political philosophy, that like what is just in a society, they absolutely riveted me. And so that's been my life, like ever since I was a kid. Like, what is right? How do we know? How could we make things better? These questions have always absolutely fascinated me, and I find them, worthy of, there's some things we do with our brains that aren't as worthy as others. And I think it's a worthy pursuit. So what I find in working with leaders, and I'm also training young leaders. I'm teaching 16 and 17-year-old kids how to start a business, and they're doing that. So
Awesome.
I don't want to teach sociopaths. I want my students to turn out, with the skills that they're going to have as a result of being in my class. I want them to also be positive members of society. So ethics is very important, and the idea that we separate, that line, "It's just business," that became famous in The Godfather, and you hear it all the time. Still
Sure.
drives me crazy. It's a gangster. It's actually the accountant for what's his name, Al Capone. This guy who they called Abby Cadabby because he was so magical with numbers. He is the one who said, "It's not personal; it's just business." I don't want my business led by somebody who thinks that way, who thinks that business has its own murky ethics. Doing the right thing is doing the right thing. And it turns out that that is a stronger, more sophisticated form of capitalism than the Milton Friedman Ayn Rand. I know I'm pronouncing your name wrong, by the way. I do that. The whole libertarian, leave me alone and let me make money, and if you have to sell your kids into slavery, cool, more money for me. That whole outlook it's not just selfish and horrible, it's also short-sighted, because when all the members of the society have more money and they're able to, there's no such thing as working poor. People who work are able to be middle class. When that happens, you have more customers. You have customers who can pay for your products. So capitalism works best when it has safety nets to protect people who need the help, and ways back into society, retraining people rather than just throwing them away when they don't have the skills that you need anymore. That's it's not pie in the sky. It's actually better for the economy to be progressive and to not socialists at all. That is kind of against what I'm for. But my kids tease me that I teach capitalism class, but I do. Um, but progressive capitalism is more along the lines of what Adam Smith wrote about in 1776 in Wealth of Nations. It's that companies need to do the right thing so that the government um, will not take over control of the companies. That's just bad governance. It's foolish. And there's a lot of people who never got past page one of the Wealth of Nations, and so they don't understand what capitalism is, and they call themselves capitalism. And the kids who are becoming, voters, who are becoming late teens, early 20s, this rising generation does not like capitalists. They've got a really bad reputation, and socialism has a stronger reputation because these so-called capitalists have tarnished the whole idea behind it.